This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pornian Bakery. If you're located in the Pornian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pornian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone can podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, before we jump into Nope, I was thinking about this from I think it was last week when we were talking about this, but the idea, remember I was like, we were talking about how like computers, they our invention of computers sparks this whole new thing, and then we end up becoming like cyborgs. Mm-hmm. You remember that? And then you're talking about like, would you get the microchip and like all that,
right? And
how you likened it to cell phones, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that, mm-hmm. right? And then like slowly but surely we're going to evolve into like this whole new robo species,
right?
Okay, so here's the trip. So I was watching I didn't finish it, but I started this Netflix documentary, How to Change Your Mind. It's about like psychedelics, right? Mm-hmm. And you know how they theorize that monkeys ate mushrooms and then that's what made them think more?
Right.
Because of like the psychedelic ideas and all that. And they were like, where do these ideas come from? Okay, so what they said in the documentary was computers were started from an acid trip. How trippy is that? Like if you actually liken the two, right? Like, so like monkeys ate mushrooms, they started to like have these trips and they're like, oh, we could start inventing things, right? Mm. So computers came about in the 60s when acid was like huge.
Right,
right? It wasn't illegal then. So then the person who invented the first computer, like they didn't say it publicly, but he went in on acid trip and then he started thinking about computers, and they bring it up in the documentary, and then from that computer sparked.
Well, you
like
mean like a modern type computer?
Modern type computer, yeah. Like they have like the like the other.
They had like
just the idea of like, oh, we could all have computers and we could all connect and we can all like blah blah, these devices.
I guess like what ideas can come from that, but there were already like ideas of
computers back then.
Before, right? They were doing it during World War II, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the Turing one, right? Yeah, but it wasn't like, well, we don't know if he's influenced by psychedelics, but it's also like not the sophisticated computer that we know. Like the Turing. No, I know,
but like the idea. But again, it's like the trickle down of the idea.
Totally, exactly. But I'm sure like the monkeys that ate the mushrooms, they always had sticks, and like, wait, we could throw the stick.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like
you're using the tools that already exist, but then what you're imagining out of those tools,
right? Isn't that trippy to think about? It's like. Because with the stoned ape theory about like mushrooms affecting the monkeys, we're like, okay, so maybe like funguses and like, well, actually, okay, so so mushrooms are fungus, right? Mm. And we're like, well, maybe the fungus is affecting our brains, sort of like the ant. Remember that analogy? Like the ant doesn't know why the cordyceps mushroom, right? It's climbing to the top and then it's exploding its head.
Yeah.
So as I said, like fungus, LSD is actually a fungus.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up LSD too, because that was a lot of the ideas. I don't want to say ideas, a lot of ideas, but like where that started from for even Steve Jobs, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It pushed his creativity to the next level, and like, okay, how can we get these things out there? And because LSD is a fungus, it's like ergot, like in its natural form. They just like synthesized it, and they're like, okay, it's sort of like THC and like cannabis, right? It's a part of it, but now they just separate the two, make it more effective, right? So isn't that trippy that these plant things are actually guiding us just like the cordyceps mushroom and the ant? That's trippy, right?
It kind of interesting to think about that, because plants have been here longer than us.
Exactly.
So they have been controlling the living creatures from the beginning.
I've been saving this all week to tell you because I didn't want to tell you because like this would be a mind blow. But that's trippy. Like if you actually put the pieces together, it's like when we die, we decompose as like moss or whatever. Like mushrooms.
Yeah. Like I mean, we
everything.
become food to them again. But it's like Yeah, that's. But they've been here like evolutionary wise, trees or plants. They've been here longer than us.
Exactly. And like, what if they're the ones that want to get off world and go to the next world, and we're just their tool to get there?
Right.
But like, really think about that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what do we do when we go there? We're going to plant trees.
Exactly. So it's not really us. They're just making us think. Oh yeah, you think you're conscious beings. You think you're making the decision, but it's actually us who.
Right.
But if you reframe that's trippy, right?
Yeah. Then it's like coming back to Avatar. We're all connected. Right, we're connected.
But we don't think about it because we are literally the cordyceps. Like they are the cordyceps mushroom, and we're the ant. We don't know why we're climbing to the top of the tree.
Right.
But we are because it's like, and then everyone thinks like, the theory of us being like sex organs for the machine world, right? We're gonna give birth to AI, but AI is just gonna help those plants get to more areas.
Right.
It really isn't like we're all afraid of robots taking over, but it's like, but the one in charge is the plant.
Yeah. We think of ourselves as separate, but we're all.
Yeah. And we think we're making these choices and like all this stuff, but it's like, but it's not real.
Right.
It's like in the illusion of us being a superior species. Like I think we talked about it too, like how plants, they communicate. So if something's being eaten, a plant is being eaten on one side and then it changes its like taste so that when the other thing comes over, it's like, oh, I don't like the flavor of this anymore. So if it's showing that level of intelligence already, but we just haven't figured it out because we're like, oh, they don't move, they don't really do anything.
Yeah.
They're just like this thing that's just like growing randomly. But it's like, maybe it's not random.
Yeah.
But how come nobody's talking about this though? Like, if you just look at it like that, like, oh yeah, LSD sparked the computer revolution, but it's like LSD is a fungus as well.
Right.
Like it really seems that way if you really think about it.
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. I mean, like we know about the Steve Jobs. Like he got those ideas from doing LSD.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it's a symbiotic, like it's together, like
they need
in a way, technology is also helping us be more efficient and I guess more.
But to do what though? Like what is the
end goal you're saying
of technology? No, it is making our lives more comfortable, but it's like, but we're going to off-world.
Yeah.
And if we off-world, that planet gets to off-world
if we
too.
off-world in time, yeah. Maybe they also know about the asteroid to come, right?
Oh, yeah, and they're like, oh no, we need to like get ourselves off.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like that is actually so trippy to think about. But you're right though, because like they were here before us. It's just bacteria. Like,
yeah. Right.
Like fungus actually broken down is just bacteria, right? Essentially. And the whole idea of panspermia is bacteria was on a meteor. It hit Earth, and then Earth started to spring life from water, right? Like
yeah. That's the idea, yeah.
So if it all comes back down to bacteria, it's like maybe like the movies were true of like Prometheus, like seeding different planets, or like we would do the same for Interstellar. They did it too, right? Remember, like they were sending like cells or whatever to different planets.
Okay, I don't remember. Yeah, okay.
So like because the Earth was dying, they sent like DNA to multiple different places with a scientist who's going to spread life.
Okay, yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That, who knows, that might have happened here too. Right?
That's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. That just tripped me out. But you can see all the connections, right? It's like, actually that totally makes sense. Like maybe, all right, sure. like, to us, we're thinking anthropomorphically. So we think that something that looks like us created us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what everyone thinks,
yeah.
right? Because humans are the smartest thing. But what if it's just bacteria moving from one place to another, and we're just a piece of that chain in the bacteria? Because like bacteria is like single cell organisms.
Yeah, and that's how
right?
life started, right?
But that's us too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We are those single cell organisms that grew into.
Yeah. I mean, we are more connected to the Earth or to the things that are on Earth because we're all from Earth, right? Like,
but yeah, exactly, totally. But yes, 100%. And also, we're a part of space too. But what's the linking chain? But they already told us what the linking chain is. We just are ignoring it. Science has always told us that we're celled organisms.
Yeah.
They've never hid that from us. Just nobody's making the connection of like panspermia, bacteria grew to what we see today. Because we like to think of everything from our own frame of reference, right? Like, oh, this is how the world was.
Right.
But before us, there was like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But what gave life to the dinosaur? Bacteria.
Yeah.
That's trippy, eh?
Yeah. I mean, Earth has been through a lot of fascinating things. Like, you're thinking about even having dinosaurs walking around.
That's trippy too. Like, to think that at some point in history there were no humans, just giant like lizard things.
Yeah.
Like what? What did the Earth look like? You know, and we're all thinking about like climate change and like all this stuff, but like I really don't think, unless an asteroid hits this Earth and then everything burns up, if there's some like bacteria left, there's still going to be life. It'll just take more time to like reset itself.
It'll just reset again. Yeah. It's going to. You can't. There's no chance you're going to kill 100% of bacteria. It's not
Exactly. When you think of it like that, when you just said it, you're like, you're not going to kill 100% of the bacteria.
Yeah.
So if you stop thinking about it like human beings and you think about it like bacteria, it makes way more sense that we keep living on.
Yeah.
Like, you might be able to kill 100% of the humans, but there's still going to be some cellular life out there that's going to evolve eventually.
Yeah. And it could be a different type of thing. Like, whatever that evolved into was dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
And now it's more of us and other mammal creatures as the main thing, right?
Yes.
There are creatures inside of like caves that have never seen sunlight.
Yes. Yeah.
And
or
they
the
will survive.
Ocean.
Or deep, and those will survive. And what comes out of that?
Maybe you can't undo it anymore, because even if, like, let's say an asteroid hits Earth, right? How would you dry up all the water?
How would you dry out all the water?
Yeah, because that's the only thing that you just need water, right? Water and bacteria creates life, right?
Yeah,
This isn't like speculation. This is science. They taught us that in grade like 4.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is like they've been telling us the whole time, is nobody put the pieces together, right? So okay, how could it ever end? Like Earth cannot end.
No, it won't end. It won't end. The only time it could end was if the sun gets so big that.
True.
That's the only time.
So what do you think happened to Mars then? Because they said that they think there was water on Mars.
I guess for that one, it's the core. The core got too cool.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
If the core is cooled, then it caused like a thinning of the atmosphere.
Interesting.
Something like that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense then, because if the atmosphere is thin, then it would dry up.
Yeah.
Because the atmosphere is what's protecting us from the... Yeah. So, okay, so climate change could be the end of everything. If the
but we got to cool down the core to do that.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. Because even if the outside is still like bubbly or cold or whatever.
I think even Mars, we don't know if life is there underneath, right? Because they do have ice.
That's true. Oh, they have ice?
They have ice.
Okay. So maybe it's just like a window in time that we're looking at Mars. So like if you sped time up like by 1 billion years, life will flourish there again. Because maybe it's just frozen in the ice.
It could be, yeah.
Like what if they find bacteria in the ice? Then that will eventually lead to life. When you think about it that way, just like bacteria will lead to life, then it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we are just this one single thing in a whole chain of events.
Yeah.
I was listening to this who's the person? He was on like the Lex Friedman podcast. He's like some scientist, and he was saying that the chance for life is like to the power of 6. So it's n to the power of 6 or something like that. It's like every year that, or like the unlikelihood. Anyway, so it's like it's a very big number. Like they figured out an algorithm to calculate the probability of human beings, like actually, like how do you create life on planets?
Okay.
Like what are the chances of life on planets?
Okay, other planets.
Yeah, but like similar to ours. Like how did we come to be to this point? And he came up with like an algorithm, like a probability algorithm. So like if the universe is infinitely vast, that probability algorithm is going to hit more times than not in multiple parts of the universe.
Yeah.
So theoretically, we could, like life,
like the chance of it just being us doesn't make sense.
You're right. But like I'm thinking about aliens now.
Yeah.
So I don't think, maybe we're thinking too grand of ourselves, because okay, so again, we're anthropomorphizing.
Yeah.
I cannot live more than 100 years.
Yeah.
Right? So aliens can't live more than 100 years.
Sure.
Right? That's just the assumption.
Okay.
Right? So maybe we're thinking about this whole thing wrong. Maybe it's not actually aliens that are visiting. Maybe it's just literally panspermia from planet to planet. Right? Because like they say that if an asteroid hits our Earth and then a chunk of Earth, like wasn't the moon a part of Earth at one time?
I think they said they found, like
an asteroid hit us.
Or when the moon was created, we did smash into each other, and the moon has some like Earth elements or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so we're not actually a part of the moon's not actually originally a part of Earth. That's a theory I heard.
I can't remember because there was multiple theories. Like what I think was something like an asteroid impacted us that created that moon. So it's like it's in that explosion.
Oh, okay, from the debris and the rubble.
From the debris and everything, the moon was there. Yeah.
Okay. So
that's what has like Earth's elements.
Okay. So human beings can't survive in the vacuum of space.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But they find that bacteria can.
Yeah.
So if this is just happening all over the universe, just like explosion after explosion after explosion, maybe it's not, because like once like bacteria has no lifespan and it can survive the vacuum of space. So if something hits Earth and then our bacteria goes out into space via like rubble, right?
Yeah.
And then we know that if something's moving in space because there's no atmosphere, it'll go on indefinitely, right?
Yeah.
So what if these things are just like impact residue from other planets that are just like spanning different, like you know what I mean? Like there's no grand scheme.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like we're all like, oh yeah, like God or aliens are manufacturing this. No, it's just like a happy coincidence. And the only reason why this is happening is because these bacteria rocks.
Yeah, it's like this. What you're saying is like like I can bring it to like the bee thing when they pick up pollen.
Okay.
And then they're not realizing they're picking up pollen. It's right. They're just going for the nectar, and the pollen is just being spread. That's
exactly the analogy. Yes. So we're all looking at this incorrectly. That's you.
Yeah.
It's like by accident. This is happening.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what life is around the universe. It's just like happy accidents.
Right.
There is no like, because we know that anything that is created on Earth will not survive the light years that it will take to get to another planet.
Yeah.
Right. And how much of those get like destroyed along the way, stopped along the way. It's really just like happy accidents, right? Because like if all this debris is going out, it's like, okay, but we have a 1 in X amount chance to get, like, you know.
Yeah. I understand.
Like some rubble is going to make it to another planet that has enough of a potential for it to like host life.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't even have to worry about time. Because like what time? No, nothing's like sentiently alive like a human being.
Yeah, that's not what we're sending. These are cell particles.
Yeah, it's cell particles that
that can be dormant,
exactly,
frozen and
yeah.
dormant until when it needs to start life again.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like looking at it anthropomorphically, we think that just because we can't survive, nothing else can survive, right? But do you remember tardigrades?
Yes.
So like, if you don't know what a tardigrade is, you can Google it, but there's these like microscopic, like it's like the head of a pin. That's how big they are.
Yeah.
They're all around us at all times.
Yeah.
And they can survive like nuclear blasts, the deepness of space. Like they just can't kill these things.
Yeah.
So what if those are those things that are also propagating the
Right,
universe?
right.
We are literally looking at it like we are like the main thing in the universe. It's like no, we're like a vehicle in the universe. Like human beings are, I don't know, like a byproduct of this grand thing that's going on, but we're closed off from it. We don't realize it's happening.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, like we don't see it happening because we may not physically see it, but there's a lot of things happening, you know, under the microscope, right? So just like life.
Exactly, yeah, under the microscope. We don't even, like, how is your heart beating right now? We don't know. How is the bacteria that's like going to infect your open wound? How does that? We don't see it. And just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not real.
Right.
We just don't know what's happening. You know?
Yeah.
That's so trippy. And then it's like, how do they communicate with us? Maybe it really is fungi.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Right? Because like, how do you get the idea out there? It's like they want to tell us something. Or maybe they don't even want to tell us something. Maybe it's like you know, Inception, how wow, this is so trippy. I didn't think it was gonna go here. But you remember Inception, how when they're trying to implant an idea in the person's mind?
Yes.
And they're like, we need the simplest form of the idea, right? So maybe it's like they're not actively trying to tell us something. Maybe it's like they're seeding ideas, which will lead to another thing. We think like, oh yeah, are fungi communicating with us? Are plants communicating, right? And it's like, yes, but not how we think they're communicating. They're not going to tell you a sentence.
Yeah.
They're going to like show you one thing, and that's going to spark the idea. Like you said, the baby calf.
Yes.
For Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
He saw it, he's like, oh, I'm sure he was under the influence when he saw that. He saw the baby calf, and then he's like,
no, he was a kid. He was a kid when that happened.
Oh, he's a kid? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
As a kid mind, you're also very...
like psychedelic in that way. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
curious
totally.
with the world, right? So.
For sure. And like, so maybe when he saw that, but how do you even remember that? So maybe he was on an acid trip and he remembered it.
No, I mean, like, there's some things specific things that you remember as a kid. You don't remember other things around it. You just remember that one moment. Like, it made an impact on you, right? Right.
Okay. So that one moment sparked the idea of convenience for computing. Right? So maybe, like, it's not... It's like we're thinking about this too literally. How life spreads around the universe and how we think we're anthropomorphizing everything. But it's not from our perspective. It's from bacteria's perspective. Right. And, like, maybe the way they're communicating is through these, like, inspirational moments. Like seeds of ideas that we create language. You know, like, for example, when you want to... Okay, as I'm talking to you, right?
Yeah.
I'm giving you a picture in your head. I'm not giving you words. You're hearing words.
Yeah.
But you're formulating an image in your head.
Yeah.
Right? That's why sometimes you see an image, you're like, I don't know how to explain this. So maybe it's like, that's how they're communicating.
Yeah.
It's like pictures, you know? And then it's like, how do I make this happen? It's like, well, that's on you to figure out. But I'm just giving you the picture.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, if you really think about it, it's like, that's actually super trippy. Because it's like, we are even smaller than we think we are. Like, it's... And then why wouldn't the bacteria create this sort of, like, importance over itself? Like, it's like, for example, it's like, if we make human beings think that they're important, they'll want to do important things. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's giving this the illusion of our importance.
Yeah.
You know, like, who controls your finger? You know, but the finger thinks it's like, oh, I'm a goddamn finger, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, my brain's controlling the finger, but the finger doesn't know it's controlled by the brain.
Right. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Right?
Yeah,
So maybe it's like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. Weird, right? It tripped me out when I saw that in like, when they said like computers were created from acid trips. I'm oh my God, we did it again.
This is all within a very short amount of time, right? Like in this industrial era, this is how.
Yeah. But maybe it needed to. It's
Or
just
it depends on when you say time, it depends, right? Because maybe the 100 years before that, a lot of things changed too.
Yeah, we don't know. We weren't in that time. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like if you want to,
yeah.
like if you think about it, like having information written down on paper, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But that was a big innovation.
Well, what? Say again?
That, like having things written down on paper in order to keep it like as a record, right?
Yeah.
That happened like a long time ago.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a big innovation at the time.
But we take it for granted.
Now, yeah. But I'm like that was a big thing that changed.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, but in the scope of our timeline.
But it's going to take time. Yeah.
So maybe this has been happening for a long time. We just didn't realize it was like we're like, oh, this is relatively recent that we're going to like Mars.
Right. But I guess it's like everything is, if you look at it like it may look like a long time, but it's like a lot of things are in a grand scheme of things. It's like it moved very quickly.
I like to think of it like. Yes, totally. But I like to think of it like a tree, right? How long is a tree's lifespan in comparison to ours?
Yeah.
So relative to
true,
right? So like us, we're like, oh, that tree's not moving, but that tree's actually moving super quickly. It's watching the world pass by super fast. So it's like relative perspective, like you're saying,
right?
It seems like this is relatively recent, but it's like, no, this has been building up for a long time. Because how could we possibly like we had to have built the pyramids, we had to have built the cities, we had to have built technology, like, you know what I mean? It's like we think it's like, oh yeah, it's just computers. It's like, no, but you need the city to build a computer. You need the infrastructure to build the city.
Yeah.
You need the wheel to get the thing, you know what I mean? It's like we're not,
and everything is probably also like trial and error kind of thing. Some cities worked or failed.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's all part of the whole.
For sure. And to the human that's living in that trial and error period, it's like, oh, nothing's moving fast enough, right? But to the fungi that is independent of time, it's moving at the speed it needs to move at.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a tree, if we don't cut down the tree, it'll live forever. Right?
Yeah.
Like theoretically.
Yes. Yeah.
It'll live forever.
Yeah.
So if it lives forever, then there is no such thing as time for a tree. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And only for us, we're thinking about like, oh, I've only got 100 years. Oh, it's not happening fast enough.
Right.
But the tree's like, well, what do you guys care about time? It will get there when we get there.
Yeah.
Trippy. It's really like we really anthropomorphize and place more special attention on ourselves than needs to be. But maybe they did that on purpose, because like that's what's going to get us to the next planet. Because if we realized that we're not as important as we think we are, then we just wouldn't do anything. We're like, no, I don't want to be in control, or I want to be in control. Sorry. So we revolt against the plants.
Yeah.
You know. Because like if you talk to somebody who doesn't really understand that they are a small piece in the entire universe. Remember like that person when I sent the link and they're like, I'm not going to look at this because the giganticness of the universe makes me feel so small. Right? But it's like, yeah, some people just can't take it. Yeah. Because if they found that out, then they might not even want to live. That's what like nihilism is, right? What's the point of everything?
Yeah. If there's no
So the bacteria, the fungus was like, I got to make you believe that you're important, bro. Because if I don't, you're just going to like not do anything.
Yeah. There's a lot of that, yes.
And then if you look at like, they say like human beings are like, they move like cancer, right? Because like they create cities and they start soaking up all the resources and they spread and they spread and they spread, right? But that's how bacteria moves.
Yeah.
Right? But like we don't look at ourselves like bacteria, but we really are. Right?
Yeah.
Dude, that is so trippy. So what does it all mean then? Like, what is the point, you know? Or maybe there is no point. It's just like...
Yeah, you just go with the motions.
Yeah, right?
That's
If
what
there
it
is a point, if there is no point, either way, you're going to do what you're going to do. You're going to die.
Yeah.
We don't really care about the one person. We care about the uniformity
It's the
of the
whole
person, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like we're like, one person can change the world, you know? The theory of like one person can change the world, right? And the bacteria is like, not really, because even if you have the best idea in the world, we're going to move like a horde, because that's what we are.
Yeah, that's why you need to have more than one person, right? One person you need as the leader, but you need to have followers in order to actually make an impact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One person, like that idea of one person can change the world. It's like you're alone. You need people.
Yeah, you need people no matter what.
You need to rally people.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have the best idea in the world, but nobody wants to listen to you, then what's...
nobody's listening to you.
Exactly. Then it's like, so who cares about the individual? The bacteria is like, no, I just got to move like a horde.
Yeah. Right.
That's so trippy. And then along the way, we create these things like art and music and culture and religion. We create all these stories of why we're all here.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like, you're here because you're a byproduct of bacteria, and this is what bacteria does. That's trippy, right? Like that's more like the literal interpretation. And then I go into like life is just a story you tell yourself, because like at the end of the day, it's like whether you believe this to be true or not, like that changes your life experience.
Yeah.
But this is science we're talking about here. Like if you look at it scientifically, it's like bacteria came to Earth. Bacteria is spreading. Bacteria is going to continue to spread throughout the universe.
Yeah.
Trippy.
From a single-celled organism.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
And they taught us that right away.
Yeah.
But we just forget it. Because we're like, yeah, of course. No, we don't forget it. We take it for granted. We're like, yeah, of course, life, single-celled organisms. We're like, no, but do you understand what that really means?
Yeah, I think we don't understand what that means.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I think we just accept it, but we don't understand it.
Yes. I wonder if biologists have figured this out. Like what we're saying right now.
I think so. They'll probably be like, yeah, like the people
like
are not understanding.
Like, of course, dummy. Like, what? Like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
That, like, if you're in biology, like, you're inundated with that, and then you see it happening. It's like, it just seems revelatory to us.
Yeah.
Now, because we didn't really, like, place too much time in, like, figuring it out.
True.
You know? But I'm sure, like, astrophysics, because, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about panspermia all the time.
Yeah, these guys, yeah.
Like, people in science, like, they know that this is happening.
Yeah.
But maybe, like, most of us just, don't know
Well,
what
we're not in
the...
they're not in the science. They're just going through the motions, right? They're not really...
But what if other people knew? Like, what if... Like, how,
I think
that
it
would
comes,
disrupt everything, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but again, it comes down to that person saying that I don't want to read it.
Oh... Damn. Good example. You're right. Damn. Because I was in my head, I was like, yeah, why didn't everybody? We should just keep telling everyone. But you're right.
But they did tell everyone, though.
We did tell everyone. But it's like the one person will be like, I don't want to read it.
Yeah.
And that's like my weird benchmark, I guess, when I'm like talking to someone. I'm like, I know how far I can take you now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone has a limit on something.
And some people like don't really care about the limit. Like I wouldn't care. I'm sure you wouldn't care either.
No, because I think it depends on how you're. I would say like a mental stability. Maybe it's like, can you handle the truth kind of stuff?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, totally. So yeah, for sure.
So if you aren't able to handle that, I think that's where those are the people that will be like,
yeah.
That's enough for me. That I don't want to learn anymore.
But like, that's weird that we come into two different camps. But maybe those people are the ones that are going to. Those are the ones that are ruled by the bacteria the most. Maybe we're the defects.
That we could be.
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like the bacteria is like, oh damn, another one. Like, they're not going to
Yeah,
do anything anymore.
Yeah, we are not the many. So, yes.
Right? Like, that kind of makes sense. And then like the people that won't read it, it's like, yeah, you're doing your job. Good job. Like, you know, keep propagating, keep doing this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then as soon as you figure it out, you're like, they're like, we can't use you in this line because like, you know, you're going to do something that's going to stop our progress.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, right? Like
Yeah.
deep thinkers might actually be the defect in like, or no, because there are deep thinkers that still do things like Elon Musk, deep thinker, but he's still helping the bacteria win.
Yeah. Right. That depends on. I don't think we're necessarily a defect. I'd say it's. I think it's like these things may help certain people find meaning in life. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right.
Like
I think everything has, in the grand scheme of things, we're still small, but
yeah, exactly.
in the overall aspect, maybe some influence. I don't know.
It's like even thinking that you're a defect is creating a grandiose nature in your mind because you think that you're somehow different.
Exactly. That's true. Yeah,
but it's like no, you're just as we made you. Maybe God is the fungus.
Yeah. Why?
Like, you know what I mean? Like people like they like if you put science with like the Christian Bible,
Mm-hmm.
if God is just the fungus, it makes total sense now. You know, like made us in our own image because we are made up of multiple cells and just, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like we created this like basic story to explain what's happening in our world, not realizing that like it's just bacteria, like cells.
Yeah.
Right. Trippy. And even the Force, like, you know how they're like, oh, the Force is talking to me. You know, Star Wars. They're like, oh, listen to the Force.
Yeah.
It's like if you switch to like listen to the bacteria, and then you like think about those psychedelic experiences and like those images in your mind that you're trying to like bring to life or do, right? Like, I don't know, when you fit it in the picture of like bacteria and us being a part of fungi, everything makes sense. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you trying to leave Earth? Well, yeah, because bacteria wants to spread.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know, everything makes sense if you just look at it from the perspective of like, we are single-celled bacteria that grew into more cells. Right?
Yeah. I think that makes sense. Like, yeah, we very easily, like, we're replicating what the bacteria does. Like, what we see what bacteria doing, we're doing the same kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, that is what, like, you know, when you like, what like the one cell splits into two cells, and then the two cells split into four cells, and the four cells split into like, you know what I mean? Like the multiplication of cells.
Yeah.
That's literally humans giving birth to other humans.
Yeah.
From the one cell, you create, like from the woman's womb, you create another baby.
Yeah.
One became two, and then it multiplies and multiplies and multiplies.
Yeah.
We really are cellular beings.
Yeah, I mean,
but we just
of
don't
course.
think about it.
Yeah.
That's so trippy. Yeah. And it's a conglomerate of cells doing the thing, because it's like, you can't say where you are. Like, where are you in your body? There's no one point in your body. Like, you're a makeup of your whole body,
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, because we are a multiplicity of cells.
Yeah.
Imagine if you could see the whole, you know, like the Matrix, where like they were seeing the code.
Yeah.
Imagine if you could see just cells. We couldn't see any separation between you and I. It would just be, but that's what we were talking about, energy. Remember before? Maybe like if you look at us like energetic beings, it's like you would be able to see like the atmosphere. You'd be able to see like, as my oxygen or like CO2 goes in the air, you somehow breathe it in, right? That's how bacteria spreads too, right? That's how COVID spread. We talked about it before.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not energy, it's cells.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, particles. Yeah.
Particles. Yeah. Particles.
Yeah.
Trippy. Yeah. Anything else about them? I was just like,
no, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, right, dude. I'm gonna keep watching that documentary. It's just so funny. I was saving it because I knew it was gonna be a sick topic. Okay, I only got three more, so this is not gonna be super long. I don't think. Tesla sells 75% of its Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Like it's weird how we're now in like a post-COVID hangover. Like when did cryptocurrency get super big? During COVID.
Yeah, during COVID. Yeah.
People had extra money. We had extra time. We were playing with the stock market. Blah blah blah. Right. And then now we're in the post-COVID hangover where it's like everything's out of whack now.
Yeah, and potential recession, right? So
yeah,
totally. A reaction to the markets are
exactly
expected.
Right? And like gas prices are high. Like this is all ramifications of COVID, and we're seeing it now too. It's like, why would Tesla sell most of their crypto?
Yeah.
They didn't sell all of it because they're like, this could come back, so we're gonna hold on to it just in case. Like we're hedging our bets. But they sold most of it because they're like, oh yeah, this was just a hype thing.
Yeah, no, I think it's also part of the what do you call it? Like for the quarterly earnings, right?
Oh, to boost their earnings up?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's why they did it.
Yeah, I think so too, because in the early part of the quarter, because of the Shanghai shutdown, right?
Oh, okay.
So that like 2-3 weeks of shutdown.
So then investors would be like, well, how come my money's so low? So they're like, oh, let's just sell this so we can represent a surplus in money. That makes sense. Yeah, they cut their losses. They cut like the crappiest thing on their balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes me think about like the future of crypto, Web3, NFTs. I'm like, I'm not buying it now. I'm not buying it.
I think when a recession happens, the only thing I don't think digital things are
They're
going to
luxuries
last.
at that point.
Yeah.
Right, like what NFT?
We care more for food prices because we can actually eat.
Right. Right? When it comes down to it, it's like survival at the end of the day. Like digital cryptocurrency, NFTs, Web3, those are all nice to haves in a world of excess.
Yeah. And that's what we had with extra money during COVID.
Yeah, and you saw the flourishing of it.
Yeah.
And then now that our money's being taken away and being spent on multiple different things, it's like, I can't buy that NFT.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do with it? I need to buy food.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know? Right? Like at the end of the day, the real world will always matter more than the digital world.
Yeah. Because that's our sustenance comes from the real world.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Wow. That's so funny. It's like it's such like an experiment that we just watched happen. You know, like what would happen if there was a surplus of money and people were comfortable? Oh, we just run into the digital world. People just doing a bunch of crazy things online.
Right.
Oh, what happens if we take that money away and then survival kicks back in? Oh, everyone runs from the digital world.
Yeah, I mean, like you were getting the checks and then you weren't driving.
Yeah.
All that money was saved.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you don't have to go in the office. You're like, oh, I could invest like a couple thousand in some crypto.
Right. And now we're going back
into the real world.
Into real world.
You know,
gas is too expensive. So all that.
Oh, I gotta sell my crypto, bro. I need to pay for gas today. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like, well, they did say that, right? Like when you enter into like a very soft society, you get like soft things, but like our survival's starting to kick back in, and like, like peace and like, it was like a couple of podcasts ago where in Peru, the Incas had double the amount of food, right? So they lived in harmony.
Yeah.
Remember I was telling you that?
Yeah.
So like that was kind of us during COVID. It's like, like we had double the amount of, not necessarily because like obviously COVID took things away, but we did have more money. So we could spend time on luxury items.
Yeah.
Like Web 3.0.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, like the real world will always matter more than the digital world.
Yes.
So it makes no sense when people like, you know, I think we knew that. That's why we were so against all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like who would spend all their time with a VR headset in a digital world?
No.
Like, first of all, how do you pay for the VR headset?
Mm-hmm.
The high-speed internet, the, you know, the NFTs for your home in the digital world.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's total luxury item.
Mm-hmm. But we still need to eat. Like, we're still stuck in this
Yeah.
physical world, right? The only way to...
You always have to pay your bills.
Yeah, yeah.
At the end of the day, you know what I mean? That's why it's funny is like when people were super into crypto, it's like you can't pay rent with crypto though.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you could, then crypto would become valid.
Yeah. And it's always was volatile. Like,
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I feel like people were hoping on it, you know?
Yes.
It became kind of cultish.
It did.
Right? Because it's like if you didn't agree with it, if you had anything negative to say about the digital, like Web 3.0, NFTs, crypto,
mm-hmm.
they'd be like, "Oh, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not smart enough."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? What do you mean? Maybe you're not smart enough that you didn't like piece it all together. Because now that time has like passed, now we're seeing it unravel.
Yeah, it's coming down to where it was prior to COVID, right?
Right.
Like to that level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like likening it to a religion. It's like, you know, there's a man in the sky that's building all these things, and you're like, that makes no sense. What about science? And then they're like, oh, you don't feel his presence.
Mm.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
they're so blind in their faith for this to work.
Yeah.
It goes back to the thing of like, I don't want to read the article.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't want to look at the truth, bro. Like, we're just showing you.
Yeah.
But I guess like it technically was propagated by people like Celebritism. That's really what it is. Right? Remember you're saying like the people who are in the commercials for crypto, they probably don't even own crypto. They're just getting the paycheck.
Yeah.
But because they're in the commercial, people think it's real.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
we're all like,
of course.
we're all gonna like run to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that's what a commercial is supposed to do, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So it makes sense for people to fall into that. But if you
But that's why it's like
read
it's like
into it, or knew about it, more about it, then
you know the truth.
Yeah.
But that's why it's like a weird experiment in this time, because you're like, oh, you could literally watch out human psychology play itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trippy. I don't know. So you think it's dead? You think we're about to watch like the
fall of crypto?
Or like this whole push?
I just feel like it's going to go
online?
back to where it was before, like to
Web
those. I don't think it's
3.0
going to
though?
go like it'll be there. It's just not as
It won't be as mainstream as people are talking about right now.
Yeah.
The only reason why people knew about crypto, like nobody knew what crypto was, and then I was noticing having like dinner conversations about crypto because like,
nobody knew about it. I knew about it way before, but nobody.
Of course, because it was just like a digital. It was like a nerd thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what like. Of course, we knew about it. We're like, yeah, this is a cool invention, but it will never take over. Yeah. But then the people that grew on the hype were like, oh, I just made like triple my investment in Dogecoin because I just sold it. And then it became like, oh, you can make money doing crypto. And then everyone was asking me like, what is crypto? And you're like, it's not what you think.
Yeah.
If you made a lot of money during this period, that's great. But like, I would sell right now.
But it's only that would only happen if you were in it way early, right? You had to be in it.
Yeah, totally. For sure.
Because if you got in it at its peak, then you're just losing money, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. You know, before they were interviewing this person, and they're like, so they paid like 1,400 Bitcoin for a pizza when it started.
Okay.
I think it's 1,400, like so something like that. It was like a high amount, right, for pizza, because back then you could use Bitcoin, but it was like so underground.
Yeah,
so
okay.
they would sell certain things, whether like you'd sell a car, stuff like that. So they interviewed the guy like, oh, you bought a pizza for this amount of money. Like, if you had it today, like, do you wish you could go back in time and not buy the pizza? And the person was like, no, I would have bought the pizza. Because like you don't know, like you're saying, it's like you had to have been early. So
Yeah.
these people who were early, they didn't know it was going to be this thing.
Yeah, you also don't. Yeah, exactly.
Because they also knew it was like, it's not going to pan out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a cool thing to have, you know? And if you look at the history of Bitcoin, it actually started for selling like illegal things online.
Okay.
On the Silk Road, the online.
Yeah.
That's how it became super big. I think the inventor of crypto, I listened to the Business Wars podcast about it. He was like trying to sell mushrooms, but you can't use cash.
Okay.
So they used Bitcoin as like a
That's funny.
medium of currency. So it was like originally tied to drugs.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. Like, well, yeah, of course, right? Yeah. All right. One last thing about like the digital world, like Web 3.0. So Web 1.0 is like you could post content on there, right? It's like it was like a storehouse for information. That's what Web 1.0 was. Like, you know, sites.
Yeah. Website.
Right?
Yeah.
Like back then, you just like search something up and you'd find like landing pages. Web 2.0 is we started to create content for it.
Okay.
So it's like that's where like you can have your own personal website. You can start like a Wikipedia page. Like you start interacting with web. Like users got to like engage more.
Right.
Social media is Web 2.0.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like I can put myself online now. Whereas you couldn't really do that too much in Web 1.0. Web 3.0. Do you know the differentiating factor between 2 and 3?
No.
Okay, so Web 3.0 is you can own things on the internet.
Okay.
So that's what I was saying with like crypto, Web 3.0,
Yeah.
and like digital worlds. But it makes no sense because if there's no server, what do you own?
Yeah.
You own nothing. So what are you paying for? Like the internet's down.
Like
What do you own?
it's. I mean, like because we're in gaming, we know about like these microtransactions, right? You're owning things. You're buying things.
You can buy skins.
Yeah,
right?
buying skins and stuff. But outside of that, we're never.
Oh my god. So wait, hold on, wait, pause. When you said the skin thing, you just made me realize something. So you know how I obsessively buy skins?
Yeah.
Right? The mainstream media is getting on the hype of finally getting to buy skins. That's what 3.0 is. What's an NFT? An NFT is literally me buying a skin in a video game.
Yeah.
And now it's like hype because you're like, oh, you can own this skin.
Like it's not like
it's bro, of course.
Like the
video
game,
games.
right? Yeah, it's just that skin is only in that specific video game, right? So that's the other thing is for Web3 is just I guess anywhere, but like.
No, it's not even anywhere. They have different worlds.
Okay. Oh, so they have different worlds. So it's the same thing then. It's the same thing.
Exactly. That's why I was like so mind blown. I'm like, oh yeah, because I obsessively bought skins, right? And then how I felt with the skin is like, oh, I get to own the skin. So now I just implanted that to like saw it from the perspective of somebody who's never experienced that before.
Yeah.
So telling my dad, hey, you get to own this skin. He's like, wait, I get to own a skin? Well, that's cool. And then regular people think it's super important to like own these things.
Right.
But if you play video games, it's like, no, you're just doing like a Call of Duty's the best for it. Remember they have the Rambo skin?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got to buy that Rambo skin.
Yeah. But outside of that, you're not going to use it anywhere, right?
If they close down the Call of Duty server, I can't play anymore.
Exactly, yeah. And like move on to Call of Duty 4, it's like that's not even there anymore.
Oh man, yeah.
Like, to buy it again.
Right? So Web 3.0 is like basically a video game. It's like, oh wait, we're upgrading our servers and we're updating the graphics, so we're moving worlds, guys. And everything that you bought in that world, we can't really transfer over because the data doesn't really match. Because like coding changes over time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like that's why if you buy an old Mac, it can't support the OS of this new thing because it doesn't have the hardware. Right?
Yeah.
So, but that's what Web 3.0 will be. They'll just tell you, hey, we can't support the old architecture, so move on to this one. What happened to all the money I spent? That's part of the old architecture.
Yeah.
It's literally people are getting hyped over video game stuff. That's like been there forever.
Yeah.
Really though, right?
Yeah.
And then, but the only difference is exclusivity. So like Call of Duty, they had the Rambo skin, right?
Right.
So everyone could buy the Rambo skin. Okay. But what if they're like, only 5 people get to buy the Rambo skin? Oh, I'm going to pay more. Now we have to bid. That's what NFTs are.
Yeah.
Dude, if you just play video games, you'll get this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. That's so, because like think of
But like,
GTA 5.
but the thing is like this too for me because I don't really buy skins, right? So it's like you're buying the skin because you like the skin, but like there's no difference in how I play the game and how you play the game.
Exactly. It's still going to be a wall. Like you're gonna like the NFT will be on the wall, but it's still just a wall, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get your point. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make me a better player.
No,
It's just like, oh, that looks cool.
that's it, and it's only for
Yeah.
you.
And it's only for me. I can't even see the skin either. Only you could see the skin.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's like an outward flex, right? Because like I literally can't even see the skin
But
on
the
my
NFT is
character.
even worse because it's on your own wall, right? So
You
unless
can't
you
bring that
invite
around
me
with you.
in, I don't in that world. But
And then
it's
do
like
you want every digital person to come over to your house? You know? Like, yeah, no, totally. Yeah, that's so weird. But I guess it's the same as like people who art collectors.
yeah.
It's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, we
we're just
wouldn't.
tapping into
Yeah,
old
that's-
psychology.
Exactly.
That's kind of humorous when you think about it. It's like people are getting so hyped over something that's like makes no sense.
Yeah, because we come from a video game world, so we understand all
Yeah,
these things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, silly. Okay. All right, now we'll hit into the last two and actually talk about what the podcast is titled. But before we do that, Wakanda Forever. You saw the trailer.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. Yeah,
Yeah. So what'd you think?
looked hype.
Yeah, no. God damn, bro. Black Panther's always good. Like, the visuals look so sick. So they did end up killing Chadwick Boseman in the movie. They said they weren't going to do that, but I think that was to throw us off.
Yeah,
remember
that's what
she
the
said,
trailer
like-
seems like. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I lost all my family members.
Yeah. Yeah, but like the sister's there, right? So I don't know what that means.
Oh, yeah, true. I think she's the new Black Panther. I think they're going to make...
But they had less. They didn't show it was right. They had a Black Panther.
Yes, they did, but I paused it to look at the features of the Black Panther,
Okay.
and it's very feminine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, if you pause it, it's like a very skinny
Okay, I
Black
didn't pause
Panther
it.
with,
That's
like,
it.
kind of, like, thin legs.
Oh.
Yeah. If you pause it, you'll see what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
look masculine. It looks very feminine.
Mhm.
Even, like, the claws, when they put the claws out, it was like a thin hand. Unless they have, like, a really skinny male Black Panther, but I highly doubt that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be, like, Suri or something.
That could make sense. Yeah.
Or the other girl, the other main girl. I think it'll be Suri, though, because it looked like very slender, the Black Panther. Or maybe there's multiple Black Panthers now,
That's possible.
right? Like all female Black. It looks like it's going to be a female empowerment movie. Even the song, No Woman, No Cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, one thing I love about Black Panther, and I'm so stoked about, is I'm a huge fan of Kendrick Lamar, and he made the album for Black Panther, right? So, like, basically, if you're, like, a fan of Kendrick Lamar, they called the Black Panther album Kendrick Lamar's album. But he's through the whole thing, and, like, he's, like, the thread throughout the whole thing, and, like, he brought everyone on. I think they gave him, like, creative control, like, whoever you want to bring on there. So he put all of his friends on there.
Okay.
So what I really like about Black Panther and what they did is with number 2 is they played Kendrick's music again. It went from No Woman, No Cry, Bob Marley, and then it phased into All Right by Kendrick Lamar. That's what the final song was.
Oh, I see.
We're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's his famous, like, protest song against, like, he brought it up during, like, the riots with the police when they beat that person down. Then he came out with the song, like, we're going to be all right. I like that they put that in there because, like, they not hyped you up, they pulled on your heartstrings over, like, Chadwick Boseman's death in the trailer. But then it's like, we're going to be fine.
Yeah,
You know, like, the way
that
they
looks like
ended it.
yeah, that was cool.
You know, and they also talked about, like, you know, they showed, like, lots of women in it. I think it's going to be, like, very women empowered. But which is perfect timing with the other movie you showed me.
The Warrior or Queen Warrior. I forgot what the title was. Yeah. That's another one that's
Interesting, right? It's like
in Africa. Yeah.
Did Ryan Coogler make the first Black Panther?
I
think so. He was, like, super famous because of that.
I didn't know the name. I didn't know who it
Ryan
was.
Coogler. He's the guy that he was trying to pull out his money from the bank, and then they
Oh, right.
thought he was a robber.
Oh, okay.
Same
Yes.
guy.
I think he did movies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
He did? All right, cool. So we can assume that this one's going to be just as like...
Yes.
He did. All right. We can assume that this one is going to be just as inspirational and like thought-provoking. It'll have a statement just like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited. Yeah, Black Panther's sick.
Yeah.
I hope it's not touched by Disney too much. You know, remember we were saying like, they're going downhill right now, but then the Taika Waititi, they were like, is a Taika Waititi film, and they were like, oh, this was actually a good movie.
Yeah.
But because they promoted like Ryan Coogler, I think we can assume that it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be November too.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was
Super soon.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's all San Diego Comic-Con going on right now, so they have all these bunch of trailers coming up and
Yeah.
showing all that. Like the She-Hulk one, I think in the
I didn't
She-Hulk.
watch that one yet though.
I think near the end of the trailer, a glimpse of Daredevil.
That's the only thing I saw on my feed.
Yeah.
Like the yellow suit now.
Was it a yellow suit?
Yeah. Well, that's the like IGN was posting the video and then showed you.
Okay. All right.
The yellow suit is like, it's a throwback to like an old comic.
Mm-hmm.
I think She-Hulk and Daredevil actually get together. I think they're like an item.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that makes sense. And then they saw like, I don't know if there was a trailer for it, but it was like Daredevil Reborn or something like that.
Yeah, I saw you post that, but I don't. There's so many things going on. I have to watch. Like I need to sit down and just check out what's going on at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it ends today, right?
Yeah, today's
Okay, so we can expect like more awesomeness to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is like the first time now, like after, like the COVID, like a full open Comic-Con kind of thing, like back to normal. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Anything else about Black Panther?
No, yeah, it looked cool.
It looks so cool.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be women versus women too, because they showed the enemies and they all look like the blue, the blue skinned people. Do you remember that?
A little bit, yeah. It's such a quick trailer, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but
I only watched it once. So.
Yeah, I was like scrubbing through it and like pausing. And I was like, what does that mean? Yeah, so it looks like it's gonna be like women versus women in a battle, like a woman tribe, and then
right. Okay.
Women. But that could be really cool. Like Black Panther is like an all women thing.
Yeah,
it's like
cool.
the,
yeah.
You know,
it has the same vibe the other one too. Then
it did. Yeah. Oh, you mean the movie?
Sorry, the other movie. Yeah, the non.
That's what I was saying.
Marvel
like, it's weird
movie.
that they're coming out at the same time. Yeah. Empowerment, and that one looks so good too. When does that one come out?
I don't know. I have to check that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I guess last thing. Nope.
Yeah.
So that's really what, like, if you listened this long, you were waiting to hear what we thought of Nope. Okay, so caveat, me and Vish both fell asleep multiple times. We had no idea what was going on. I woke up and I turned over and you're like awake. So I was like, oh damn, does he like this movie? Okay. Maybe it's just me. I was like, because we went to a late one and I'm usually asleep at that time. So I was like, maybe I'm just sleepy. Mm-hmm. And then when you were like, oh dude, I fell asleep. I was like, oh thank God. Like it wasn't just me. It was
I don't
so
even
slow.
remember when I fell asleep or
I
like,
don't
at the
either.
parts where I fell asleep because I felt very lost in the story.
Yeah. And it felt like long too.
Yeah.
It was 2 hours, but it's like you can watch a 2 hour movie and like it flies by, but it's just like the shot selections were just too long.
The pacing was too slow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it was something.
It felt like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like it was trying to be a Quentin Tarantino. You know, like his pacing is kind of slow too, and like everything matters.
But like there's very. I don't know, like something with Quentin Tarantino, I'm awake. Like every sentence has a
right. So we thought, like, I mean, for me, I thought that it was trying to be like Quentin Tarantino, where you have to pay attention to everything, but it like fell short on the mark because I don't think it tied everything together. Like, you know, Quentin Tarantino, his classic thing is like they're all like independent and they come to this one point, right? But like when we woke up at the end, it was just like they wanted to take a photo of the alien.
That was the main.
It was like what?
That was from the beginning.
Yeah. So
that was like the first after the first 10 minutes or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
the point was they
Just,
wanted to
just capture it on film.
capture a good quality capture of a alien.
So now we're just waiting till you do it. Like there wasn't a climactic scene where everything came together.
You're right. No.
And the way it ended too was so awkward. Like he was on a horse at the end, standing at the entryway.
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
And then my
It was
sister,
a nice art piece, but it was
but like
weird.
I don't know. Like it wasn't
It's not. It's not for the.
average consumer.
Yeah, like it was a different kind of movie for him too, right? It's not.
Yeah, I guess.
He did add horror bits here, but and comedic bits, but it wasn't. That was his little things of it, I guess, and then.
It was a bad execution.
Yeah, it just didn't. I don't think it works for the general audience. No.
But I don't know why. Like, remember I was sending you guys that thing where it's like, oh, it's the
Yeah, the
3D.
critics
He
loved
did-
it.
Yeah,
The
I was like,
critics
what the hell?
really loved it.
But like I get it.
I think as like a study, a film study,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
these
totally,
things
exactly.
it works like that. But like in order to make a summer blockbuster,
That's the thing.
That-
Like, why'd you put it in the summer? Like it's the summer blockbuster.
mm-hmm.
If it was like October, November, we're like, oh, that's cool. But like if you're putting it in the summertime, we're expecting like quality.
Yeah, you were
know?
expecting some good storytelling. I don't know. It just didn't work. It just
Yeah.
like there was too much. I think what your sister was saying was like, that made sense, but you really had to think.
Yeah.
Like there's the meaning behind
Yeah. So
the moral of the story, I guess.
exactly. We didn't watch that, so like we fell asleep during it, so we didn't catch it. But she didn't fall asleep, so she was saying how the monkey, when you cage a monkey and
A wild animal,
a wild
yeah.
animal, it'll eventually attack you.
Yeah.
So they put that sort of like the monkey too. Oh, so they put that like the alien because they were utilizing the alien for the show. That's
Yeah.
why they were feeding it horses or something like that. And then it rebelled and attacked too. So it's kind of like you should leave nature be. I
Yeah,
guess.
something like
it was
that.
like,
Maybe is the
like, come on, we don't need to deconstruct it that hard,
Yeah.
And if I couldn't make that piece right away, that's why I fell asleep. I was like, what is it trying to tell me right now?
Yeah.
And it kept going back to the monkey. So you're like, what, like, why is this monkey?
I was interested, like, because it started off with the monkey, right?
I thought it was a virus. I thought that would have been cool if it was like a virus thing that's taking over. Okay, cool. But like, if you're gonna analogize a monkey being captured,
No,
to an
I
alien-
did think actually when I first saw the monkey, I thought like the monkey went like crazy. Like
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
yeah, like I can't
that
remember if it was
performer?
after or now, like during it, but it was like he went crazy against the humans because we were like
It was like a sideshow.
yeah.
But then, how do you piece that to the alien? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
he
come
was
on,
trying
man.
to yeah.
You're making me jump too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like his movies are kind of similar. So he's trying to make himself into a Guy Ritchie or like a Quentin Tarantino. Like those, or Martin Scorsese. He's trying
Yeah.
to become a name,
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Because they all follow the same like style. So you're like, oh yeah, this is a Jordan Peele movie.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, this is not one of his best ones.
Yeah. It's his third movie though. Yeah, actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait, nope. Candyman.
He did not do Candyman.
Oh, he didn't do Candyman?
Yeah, I looked it up. It
who
wasn't
did
him.
Candyman.
It's somebody else.
Some random? Oh.
I don't want to say random, but somebody else.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was him. Okay.
No. He was, I think, like
he's a producer?
Producer, yeah.
Ah, okay.
I think he was in the producing part of that for that movie.
I think that's what they leveraged because I saw his name.
Okay.
Okay, so
But it was Get Out, which is really good. Us, I haven't seen that actually.
yeah, I haven't seen it either. And then this one.
And then this one. Nope.
Yeah. So I put on my IG as like, this one is a nope. Like, don't watch this. I mean, don't watch this. I can't even like advocate watching because it's so slow. It's so slow.
It's slow. I kind of like. I didn't know what was going on, so the visuals were only at the end. We're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, like it's just craziness with the art you're just showing me, but I don't know what's going on. And
Yeah, totally. But if you and I both fell asleep, it's like damn.
Yeah.
That's saying something. Like, we watch some crazy movies and we don't fall asleep.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I'm more likely to fall asleep than you. That's why I was like, did you fall asleep? You know? Like,
There's multiple times I fell asleep.
yeah, okay. So, yeah, not the best one. But it's weird. It's like they're all following a theme right now, which is like empowerment, like black empowerment.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a black director, and that's how he started his movies, right?
For sure. That, but I meant like, not just his movies. I meant like
No,
the
right.
African one. Then
Right. Well, I think
Black
now
Panther.
that I think it was more like once you've seen the success,
you're like,
when
oh,
you
people
stepped
want
into
more
it, you
of
saw the
this.
success. It's like, okay,
Give you
we
what
can
you want.
actually, like, maybe it was more like hesitation, like I don't think it's gonna make money here, like that kind of stuff, right?
What are you talking about?
Like to get those movies out.
Oh, black empowerment movies?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry, yeah. To get the black empowerment movies out is more like maybe the audience won't come out, maybe it won't connect with the audience.
Oh, yeah.
This is always the fear with anybody
makes
that's
sense.
putting money in, right? It's not necessarily that.
Don't take it personally. It's like
Yeah,
a
I
return
don't.
on investment.
It's always about return on investment. If you
Yeah.
can prove return on investment, then they will do it
Yeah. Okay, that makes
because
sense.
it's all about money,
Yeah.
right?
Facts.
And especially if it's only run by white people, right? That's
They're like, historically, they haven't done so well. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, that's what they're thinking.
right.
So, like,
Yeah. And then
are they affluent enough to pay for the movies? Do they want to in the movies? Like, all these questions. But then when you start doing really well, then
right,
they're like, okay.
and someone
it's a
has to
safer
take the
investment.
risk, and I think
Yeah,
Disney
totally.
took that risk first, right? Which made a really good. The Black Panther was really good, and then that pushed them into looking at others like Miss Marvel,
Different cultures.
different
Yeah,
cultures,
true,
and seeing
true,
that
true.
as the way to go, right? So
That's interesting that you say that, because it's like, remember when Black Panther came out, and then that became a movement. It wasn't even just a movie; it was a movement,
yeah, it was.
right? And then what was that? Crazy Rich Asians came out, and they were like, "This is our Black Panther," right? So it's like, yeah, they do see a market for it.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, look at how well it was received last time.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that there's all these black empowerment movies coming out too.
Yeah. And yeah, that's why we're seeing a lot of it now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're testing the waters with different cultures now.
Yeah.
Like, how will this do? How will this do? How will this do? Yeah, interesting.
And like with even the Korean, right? Like the winning the Oscar for
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Then Netflix doing what was that? The Korean show? I forgot what it's called now.
Squid Games.
Squid Games. So it's like there's more and more of that happening now.
Is this the age of the BIPOC? You know what I mean? Like,
I think so. Yeah. No. Of course. Yeah.
Because this is laughed and then it clicked. No, you're like, no.
Well, I'm laughing because it's true. Because it's like, why I laugh was because everybody's talking about BIPOC.
Yeah.
So it's going to be what they're going to start focusing on more, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
That is the influence of where marketing is going.
Yeah, I really do feel like there is a huge shift in that realm. Because like prior to this, it was very like colonial influence. You only saw Caucasians in movies most of the time.
Yeah.
But now it's like we're starting to see different, I don't want to say like run for the hills white people, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, it seems like there is this weird shift happening. They were like living through a shift in.
But I think it makes sense that we should go in this direction.
No, we should, yeah. Because like, North America's multicultural.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, why would you just make it all about white people?
It is exactly right. Yeah. You're technically actually reducing your audience if you just make it for white people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
There's more money now in wanting to get the world to watch it.
Yeah. It's weird though, like what do you call it? Like foresight, I guess, because you and I have like we're analyzing it like weekly, like what's going on with like society and all that, right? So like I feel like with my current job, even that I'm like, you guys are onto something and I want to be a part of it, you know? Because like we're focusing like straight up on like BIPOC. Like we're very picky on like, let's not have a bunch of white people in these images.
Right. Yeah.
And like to me, that's like interesting. I'm like, okay, because that's going to influence a lot of people. You know, no white people in these photos. Okay. Like, what does that mean? That you're sending a message.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I feel like, yeah, there will be. That's why white people feel left out, though, too, right? Like,
but then they have like white guilt, right?
yeah, there's that, but it's like also like, I think that's why we have the Donald Trumps.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
Because we have to be inclusive, not just separate.
Yeah, so
We should also
they're
include,
fighting back as well.
Yeah, I think when you say inclusive, we mean everyone.
But
Including...
for sure. And I think a couple podcasts ago, we were talking about this, like, this is the growing pains right now.
Yeah, I feel
Now
like it's the growing pains because of so many years of not being represented, right?
For sure. It's like that old statement of, like, how do you find the middle of the room? You go all the way one way, you go all the way the other way, then you find the center. Yeah. So it's like, through most of North American history, it was all colonial Caucasian. Mm-hmm. It was one way. Mm-hmm. Now it seems like we're drastically moving all the way to the other section. We're like, no white people, you know? And then, mm-hmm. like you said, true inclusivity is everyone. Yeah. So we're eventually going to find a way to the center.
So. Yeah.
Or like, maybe, like, if you look at it percentage-wise, it was like 80-20, like 80% white people, 20% mm-hmm. BIPOC. And then now we're shifting 80-20 in the other direction, mm-hmm. 80% BIPOC, 20% Caucasian. Eventually it might just be like everyone gets an even amount of the pie. Mm-hmm. That would be true inclusivity.
Yeah,
everyone's got like their own slice, mm-hmm. like equal slice. Yeah, interesting. Especially like with interracial marriages too, like Caucasian people marrying BIPOC people. Mm-hmm. It's like that generational wealth will just be spread out to the BIPOC nation as well. Yeah. Because it's like the thought is, you know, how do you distribute wealth within BIPOC communities? Right. Marry into them. Mm-hmm. Like literally, it sounds weird, but it's like marry into it.
Yeah. No,
that's the only way to do it, right? Like you can't be like, hey, Caucasian savior, give me your money. It's like, but if they marry someone of the BIPOC race, they'll have more culture. They'll be like, oh yeah, like whatever. And then like, hey, my cousin's starting a business. You want to invest? And then that's how the money starts spreading within the community.
Yeah.
It's like full integration. Yeah. Okay. All right. Final question. Do you think that we're going to see like one race? Oh, like obviously not right now, but like in like
I think
1,000 years.
I feel like it'll be like Brazil. Brazil had that. Like it's like a mix.
I don't know anything about Brazil. Like what do you mean?
I feel like they're...
you get like really dark Brazilians. That you get like light Brazilians.
Yeah, it's just gonna be interesting. Everyone's like,
kind of basically the same.
Yeah, I feel like that's what North America will end up becoming.
Oh, that's actually really interesting because you could see like a Brazilian, because I follow like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. So you see like Brazilians look all different ways.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like, you'd see pieces of them. Like there's this like undertone of Brazilian. Yeah. But like some are like slight derivations from another.
Yeah. And they were like a mix for a long time, right? So.
Oh, interesting.
Mix of cultures, and now I would say that they've integrated in that kind of sense to be Brazilian.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing going to happen here.
That makes sense. Yeah. And then you'll have these like well, maybe in North America.
That's something North America.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't say maybe UK, but I don't say like other parts of Europe.
Yeah. So like they're more like separatists, like they're their own thing.
Yeah. And it's very hard to go there, right?
Yeah, like Filipino, you're not going to make people in Philippines into one race. It's like how many people live there. Yeah, it's like one thing. But yeah, North America, because like, you know, that question that's always like, what does a Canadian look like?
Yeah, right.
And then that'd be a good marketing campaign, actually. If you're like, what does a Canadian look like? You just show multicultural people. That's for another time. But it would be interesting, like 1,000 years from now, what does a Canadian look like? Mm-hmm. And it is a mixture of one person. It'll become one type of human.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. How could you have racism at that point? That'd be so weird. It's like...
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah, right? Like, how could you be racist at that point in the future if you all amalgamate into one thing? You could have classism.
You would have... that's what to say.
But not race. Like, if you look at other countries, there's classism for sure, but there's no racism. They're all the same.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, cool. Wow, we deciphered a lot in this podcast. We're bacteria, and we'll become one race, one type of Canadian in the future, one type of American.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, actually, no. Well, sorry. Let me just finish that thought. Maybe it'll just be in the metropolitan areas, because I feel like there'll still be like pockets of
Sure.
You know when we drive like north and you're like, oh, this town looks very oddly.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like
of
one
course. Yeah, of
type.
course. Until we start to spread out, right? But it'll always
Yeah,
be in the
sure.
cities first, because that's where
Everyone
everyone is there,
flocks
right?
to,
Yeah,
for sure.
But that'll be the majority of the population as well, right? In cities.
Yeah. Okay. True. It's still trippy to me that like you can go to like small towns and it's like just those types of people.
Mm-hmm.
It trips me out. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like not unsafe, but like it feels weird because like
It
you're
may
not
feel
like
weird, but I
everyone.
kind of like the small towns. I don't know.
Yeah, we like it because it's like, oh, it's quaint.
Yeah.
You know, it's like for us, it's like, okay, because we don't have to live there.
Yeah, that's true. No,
Right?
no.
It's like, it's nice to see.
It's nice to see. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But then imagine like living there, you're like, oh my God, look at these tourists.
True.
Right? Like from their perspective, they're like, ugh,
Yeah. That's true.
don't you ever marry one of those. No, for real, right? Like,
Well, that happens when you don't have those as your neighbors, right? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah. I read about you in this book.
But their only influence is going to be that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But that's how it started anywhere, anyways. First, that's how it was until your neighbor was someone else other than you, like other than like your race, and then it started to change.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But which BIPOC person wants to live in a small town anyways?
Yeah, most people live in the city, right? That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, all right. Till next time.
But all small towns started small. I mean, all big
Towns
cities started small.
That's true, yeah. And then people start flocking there, like, oh, it's more to do in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think there's any towns that are not? Well, actually, no. They couldn't be not covered because you need gasoline to still. Like I was thinking, like, you think there are any towns that are like so off the map that nobody knows about them,
No.
or like hardly anyone knows about them? No, because like, how would you get there? You need the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Till next time. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.
Bye. All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.